Hello and welcome to another edition of 5 Minute Features. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Lakeflow Designer, a low-code, no-code option for developing pipelines inside of Databricks. You'll find it up here by pressing New and selecting this Visual Data Prep. I'm not sure why it's not called Designer here, but Visual Data Prep is your queue, and then you'll get into this menu. I've prepared a little, and I've ingested, I've set up three sources for three tables here: customer, nation, and orders. These are just from the TBCH sample data, so nothing crazy here. Then I'm gonna attempt to see if we can get it to produce a table like this. So the nation, the total sales, and then the number of customers. And I'm actually just gonna let Genie do it. So I'm gonna say join the three tables above and aggregate the data to get me a representation similar to the picture attached. And then it's gonna start working. Then meanwhile, we can check a little look around on some of the features. So on the menu over on the left, we have different operators. We have sources and outputs. Sources are what I've used here. Outputs are for writing back to Unity Catalog, basically. We can use all of the built-in AI functions inside of Databricks. And then we have different transformations. So these are the ones I'm asking it to refer to, right? So I'm asking it to do some aggregations. I'm asking it to do some joins. There's filters, pivots. You can write SQL blocks or Python blocks. And there's also the possibility of doing notes and groupings just for, I guess, primarily metadata. So the really cool thing here is actually, so now it's started to work. Um, if we just pop up this side panel, no, that was not the right one. Sorry. If we pop up, where is it? The assistant side panel. Or I can just press Genie. You can see that it's what it's actually doing over here. So you can see how it's working. You can see that it's reasoning. So these are the instructions I'm sending to the Genie code. So it's using those actively. You can also see here it's done changes, and you can actually review what kind of changes it's done. You can click on each of the steps and you can preview. So you can see here the input over here. It's doing input for customer and for nation. Then it's joining them, and the output over here is basically just a join table, right? And if we then go to this one, you can see the input is join customer nation. So this one, this step up there, and then the orders. The really cool thing though is you can actually see the temporary view that it's generating under the hood. So the actual SQL code being generated. And I think this is where it becomes a lot more valuable than some of the other tools that can do similar things. But you actually get real generated code that you can save into Git and you can use for your developers down the road, right? So, all right, it's done. Three changes. We can review them. We don't just start by accepting them, and then we're going to go over here and we can see our sales by nation. So it does a SQL script behind the scenes here. So select nation as nation, sum total price is total sales, and count distinct cost key as number of customers. That's exactly what I asked it to do. Then at the end here, we can add an output over here. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Do this. All right, and then we're gonna output it, not to Hive Metastore because we don't use that anymore, but we're gonna say, let's say KRJO demo default, and we can press run. And what it's going to do now is that instead of just us editing through in here, it's actually going to run this as a real pipeline. It's actually going to save the data. It's going to call it output 6 because I was a little lazy. But that then means that we can go to catalog here. And then we can go into KRJO demo. And we can go to default. And in here, we should see a table called output 6. And output 6 has nation, total sales, and number of customers. And if we just do this, we should be able to see the output results in a few seconds. So what I think the really big deal breaker here is two things. So I've been toying around with this in the preview, and in the preview, we were dealing with Genie Code that wasn't nearly as good as Genie Code is today. So the real cool thing for me is we actually have Genie Code being able to do all of these things. You saw I basically gave it a picture, right, of what I wanted in the output, and it was actually able to do the joins on its own. The other real cool thing is that it generates real code under the hood that you can then feed back to your developers. So if you get something that's actually really nice that you want, you can still have it in Git. You can still do proper code. And then just want to shout out a last feature, and I know I'm already a little over time here, but you can actually drag and drop files into here as well. And what happens when you do that is basically it creates it creates an upload path into a volume. You select which volume you want to upload the file to, and all of a sudden you can actually combine your lakehouse data with sample data or with like static files you have lying around, and all of a sudden you have a really cool playground to test out a lot of different things with data. So that's the Lakeflow Designer. Let me know what you think, and until next time, have a nice day.